It's Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance. Thanks so much for joining us. Our guest is Eric Garcetti. Eric is the president of the Los Angeles City Council. Sir, thanks for joining us.
Great to be with you.
We're all very excited about the possibility of professional football in Los Angeles, but I'm wondering if the NFL is serious about professional football in Los Angeles.
You know, I think they've been serious over the years, but we have to stay in the driver's seat. I mean, we've always said, look, the NFL needs LA more than LA needs the NFL. And I'm not interested in subsidizing billionaire owners. I'm interested in something that might help expand our convention center, put people back to work, and get us football at the right price. But we can't be desperate.
Right, but let's talk about this whole idea of subsidizing billionaires. We know as part of this Farmers Field plan, which is still complicated and we still don't exactly know what it is, but we do know that the AEG group is asking that the city float bonds for about $350 million to help with the renovation of the convention center. I'm just wondering, why can't they float their own bonds? I mean, they're rich. Right. We're not. We have a huge budget crisis.
That's a great point, and that's why the devil's going to be in the details. I just appointed an ad hoc committee on this, put 5 of our best members of the city council to look at this and to shake kind of this deal out and to see why do we have to have public bonds. If it's public bonds because we have a lower interest rate, what protection do we have that if they go out of business or something else, we're not the ones who are held liable. If they can guarantee us that they're not, I'll continue the next step of the conversation. Then we look at the convention center. How can we get more visitors to LA, build more hotels? That's more attractive than a football stadium to me.
And let's talk about that because we know that even though we are the second largest city in America, in terms of convention business, we're maybe 15th.
Yeah, exactly.
And so will this new and improved convention center really bring in new conventions? Because that's where the money can really be made.
Well, I've done my homework and talked to a lot of convention bookers, and they say we won't come to LA because you don't have 2 buildings that touch each other.
Right.
One of them's really old. So there's something to it. And you know, those are good jobs, our tourism jobs, people who would build hotels, work in the hotels, the convention, all the visitors bureau folks. But that has to be proven on paper. So I think that we've had a lot of good cheerleaders, but we need some good referees now.
So you talked about jobs. But I'm wondering, look, it seems intuitive that if we build a convention center that's new, we bring in a new football team, jobs will come. But I've seen studies, reports that say, not necessarily. Jobs will come, but they'll just displace existing jobs.
Well, with football stadiums, for sure. They're usually not net winners for the jobs. They're used infrequently. They cost a lot of money. Look at the Jet Stadium. You know, you'll have decades that you have to pay money out. But for the construction jobs initially, those are real. And for the convention jobs, remember, our 3 biggest industries are tourism, technology, and trade. So that tourism piece is attracting new people here, and certainly in the convention business, you can retain people that right now are going to Las Vegas, going to Orlando. We've got the weather, we've got everything here, but for whatever reason, we have not become a top 5 convention town.
We also have the traffic. And one of the frustrations for many people who live on the west side or even anywhere near downtown is that as you head to downtown, the number of lanes decreases. That doesn't make sense to me. And if you think about going from the 10 to the 110, it breaks down to 2 lanes. Please tell me that if we get the Farmers Field, that will be completely renovated, because it will only get worse if we add this football stadium.
Well, there's no question we have to have a full environmental study that includes traffic here, because even though it's on Sundays when we have less traffic, we have to look at building up downtown in a way that gets people in and out of there with public transit and on the roads. We passed Measure R, so we've got the funds there. We've got to make sure, though, that this is a part of anything so that we're not held. You know, I live right next to downtown.
You do.
I don't want to see a stadium go up and suddenly I can't get out to meet friends, go do grocery shopping. So anybody who would want to skirt those requirements for environmental impact report would probably tank this deal.
Well, so let's talk about that. We know that the AEG group is looking potentially for some dispensation as it relates to CEQA requirements that was given to the folks in industry. Are they going to get it?
I'd like to see that. That happens at the state level, not in the city council.
Sure.
But I'd like to see a full environmental study. I think the people deserve that, and I think that's what we should have.
Okay, his name is Eric Garcetti. He is the president of the Los Angeles City Council, hopefully the next cheerleader for the Los Angeles something. I'm Brad Pomerance, back to HLN.